Hey friends, so now we have the Python for data science. Let's be familiar with the interface that we are going to use. That is Jupyter Notebook. So here we have these cells and we have different options to code, markdown, raw, NB convert or heading, right? So basically whenever we have to use some description or the heading, so we just normally select the markdown. What happens, we can style the font size in the markdown. So what we do is, for capitalist we use the largest for one hash, that is main heading. Then for subheader we use hash twice, and for minimum font size we use hash thrice, right? So this is what happens in the each cell. We can perform directly any mathematical operation here, like we directly passing 2 plus 2, that is giving us 4. But when we pass any such operation in two different lines, okay, so whenever this need to be printed, so the last one will get printed. Here the 2 plus 2 will not get print, but to print both the line we simply use print function, okay, to pass the value, so that will print all of the lines. Now again we starting with the hello world. In the print statement itself we can perform any print string, then we perform any mathematical operation again in between any two strings, right? And we can also separate any such sentence by passing the separator, where we are passing the empty string. So in between the 2 plus 4 here, it will be getting the empty, okay, because we are passing space here, right? So instead of this, it will separate that space. Again what we are printing the 2 plus 2, and we also use plus operator to concatenate two strings, that is hello and word. So it will get concatenated. To provide space in between them, you can provide here and here as well. So this is what we got here. Now we cannot perform any mathematical operation with the string, of course we can't do that, and this is why it populate the error. Okay, so let's move forward with the variable. We can define variables with any name. We just write the name of that variable and directly assign the values, and according to these values that we assign to any variable, Python automatically identify that, okay, this is string, float, or any numerical or alphabetical value, right? So again, to print them, we can directly pass that variable into print, and then we specify whether to use separator or not. Now let's say we want to store any string value with the any variable, so it again apply the same as it applied here. Now we are defining a RAM of 4 GB, right? So the RAM will simply print here. We are calling the variable, and we can specify GB or any other string after that main string. Now we are defining a storage of 128. So again it will normally print that storage of 128. Okay, now let's say the store wants to save the information of the billing status of the above phone, right? That we specified the RAM, storage, and the price of that phone. Okay, and we have to write the code in Python to implement the same, right? So can do in that way also. What we will do is, first we are enabling the billing, that whether this phone is billed or not. Okay, now we are checking the price, brand, RAM, or all the specification of that phone. So we just use the type to know the data type of this price, type to know the data type of brand, and type to know the data type of RAM. So this way we just got this. Here is build is boolean type, just because we passed here true or false, like the build is a true. Now let's say if a customer want to buy two phones with different specification, that is 4 and 128 gigabytes at the price of some specific price that we have to get. So what we'll do is we are creating a new variable with both the price, because we have defined the price one time, that is 900. Now the price is doubled here, and what we are doing is we are multiplying the price of 900 to 2. That is why we will get the separate billing of two different mobile. Okay, so the bill amount is generated to $1800. Now what if we want to give any discount of the product that we are selling out? So we again specifying the discount amount, and we just minus the discount amount from the actual price. So this way we'll get the total price of that particular phone. Again, we used here the separator just because whenever there are two different string or two different values, so in between them, if there is any space or the value that we are passing into separator, that will get removed. Now what we are doing is we again define a bill of 1800, and the price is half of the bill. Okay, so that means this is sometime we want to give a use discount, that is at the 50% of the actual price. And what happened now, as we have used here division operator, so just because of that the value is converted into decimal, because whenever we divide, so the value could be in floating point as well, so system automatically detect that. Now we defined a bill of 36 bill of 3600, and the price is a certain price, right? So what we are doing is we are passing forward slash, that denotes that we are forcing the answer, or we are forcing the variable that we are defining, it should be integer. So irrespective of the fact that this is our 900 point something, so the point something will be removed, and the integer point, that is our real value, that will get stored in the actual variable. Now what we can do is we have several conversion operation as well. So what basically happen, we can convert any data type to any other data type, and we can do them with two ways. That is, so implicit is basically the Python does that automatically. We just need to focus on the explicit, how we can do that. So basically Python converts one data to another in order to avoid the loss of that data, but explicitly we can do that just because of our convention or our logic that is inside the code. So again we are having a price variable, and we have a discount variable, and what we are doing is the discount must be a float. Okay, because we are in here, this is in decimal, so the answer would be in float. Now if we perform any other operation here as well, and what we are doing is we are converting the final answer into a string. So this time our the price, final price is our string type. The type here converted to string, right? Again, if we check the actual type of our final discounted price, so it is float, because we haven't changed the variable it's yet. But now if I change the variable, let's say I want to do that in this way here, and let's say we are saying, so here now this has been converted into the string type. Let's say we again check the type of price and type of discount. So one is integer and another is float. So this is how we perform the operation between integer and float. Now let's say what we want to do is, if we want to convert any operator implicitly, so is that possible? Let's say we want to add the variable brand, RAM and storage. Okay, So what we are doing is we are printing the brand and the name with the concatenation. We have one string already here and we cannot concatenate any different variable. And what if I want to add any string, like the name was here the integer, so now I converted the name into str and concatenated all of them, just because all of them are now type of a string, so all will return a string with a string type itself. The main part in any programming language is the data structure, like how we store or how we manage our data. So list, tuple and dictionary are very popular. We are use them mostly. So let's say let's start with list. So we can define the list by using these square bracket, and we can pass any n number of values in that list. So what we are doing is we are printing the list simply by calling the variable. Again back, what we are doing is we are checking the type of this brand list, so it will definitely return the list. So let's create few more values. Now we are defining three lists with different values. So this is containing different value, this one is different, and we are printing them by specifying that okay, that is the name list, that is the storage list, and that is the price list, with just calling the actual variables. Now how records are being stored. So what we can do is we can also check the length function. Len is basically return the length of any particular list. So what we are doing is we are checking the length of this brand list, so we can check the actual length, that is length of this brand 1 2 3 4. It will definitely return the 4 records from that list. Let's say we want to check any minimum values in that price list. So normally we use the minimum variable, okay, and we are just converting that into the string data type. Now what if we want to know the maximum, so we use the max function to pass the variable inside that max function, and it will return the value of the max. So here minimum is $600 and maximum is $1,000 in the price list. So here is the price list where minimum is 6,000 and maximum is $1,000. Here we can also access them based on the index. What happens basically, we know that we are counting from 1 to n, right? But programmatically it is not there. We start counting from 0 to n minus 1. All right, so let's say we have the RAM list, where in the RAM list I have 4 values, okay, and I want to check the values of second. So at the second index, what I have in the RAM list, this is 0 position, first position and second position. At second position we have 8, so it will return the 8 here. We can also specify any indexes, like from any particular value to value, and for that we use the colon. Before the colon we define that okay, we want the value from 0, and we want the value from 3 minus 1, that is n minus 1, which is 2. So it will return values from 0th index to 2 in the price list. So that are our 3 values, 0 1 and 2. And to get from the last one, or to get reverse value, we normally use the minus 1, and before the minus 1 value we can come to 0th value by passing minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 in that way. Now we have pop here. What pop will do is pop will remove the value in the list from the last, unless and until we do not specify any index number. So it will just remove the value from the last. So initially we had 4 values here, and just because of this pop method, the last value has been removed from there. Okay, and another is append. We can also append the value in the list. So it will append the value at the last of any value. So here again we had 3 just because of this pop, and now we have appended the new value, so it will get appended at the last position of that list, and we can directly update the value in the list by specifying the index value. So here we are passing the 3, so it will update the value at 0th, 1, 2 and 3. So that is last position. The Motorola value will get updated by this new value. Just because lists are mutable, we can change them. Okay, so again we are updating the same value, that is Motorola, with this last updated one, and we can do that a number of times. Now come to the tuple. So as I just said that list is mutable, we can change list anytime, but in the tuple that is not possible. Once tuple is defined, so we cannot update that. Okay, yes, we can perform operation that with the tuple, but we cannot update it. So we are defining a storage with tuple values, that is we can pass any number of variable, a number of values, and we just printing that. Okay, it will also return the values inside that tuple. We can also check the type of that tuple, so which will return the tuple itself. We can also use the indexing that we had done with list. So just passing any index inside those square bracket, it will return any specific value, and we cannot update this. It is immutable. Just because of immutable, we cannot update any value in any at any specific position. Now we have another data type or data structure in Python, that is dictionary. So basically dictionary works with two things, that is key and value. So it is much easier, like we had hashing. What happens, we pass the key and the respective value. Okay, so here exactly what happens, we define the dictionary inside the curly braces, and we pass the key and the value. Again this is our key and the value. Okay, so when we print that dictionary, it will print all those values respectively. This is the brand key and this is the value of this key. Again this is the value of this key. If we get to know the type of that dictionary, it will return the dict type. Dict is dictionary. Now if we want to access any particular value inside that dictionary, so we just normally pass the key that we have already defined here. So here price in dollar is key for 800, so it will return 800 accordingly. Now we can also update the value by accessing that particular key. Here we are updating the value and just printing. So price in dollar will get updated with $900. Let's say we have now 4 different varieties of different mobile. Okay, and we are passing them into the one product. Okay, so this is all the 4 variety of one phone. Okay, and here we are getting that brand name and the RAM in GB. Okay, so these are our 4 brands: RAM, here storage, their price, and what if we want to what we are doing is we are storing all the keys. These are the brand, RAM in GB, storage in a key variable, and we are storing all the values in value variable. So independently we can also get the key, only key, and also we can get only values that are inside the dictionary. Finally, what we can do is we can also access them at what exactly position that is. Like in the RAM in GB, we have 4 values. So which value I want? So the key is RAM in GB, okay, which is in first index, that is specifying, okay, this is the key in the product. Okay, and the second we are passing, that means there are more than one values and we want to get the value at first position. So 0th at first is 12, so we got 12 here. Now we have conditional statements, basically if then else. So if there is any expression, then do such several tasks. If that is not the case, just do some other task. Okay, in budget, here we are getting the value from user, that okay, just input an integer value, and that should be the budget in dollars. Okay, and if the price that we already defined above is less than equals to that budget, just print this statement, or you can perform any task here. So okay, congrats, you can buy the phone. That is nothing but checking the eligibility. So here if that is not the case, sometimes if the budget that a user passed is much lesser than the price that we have defined, so it will throw that statement to the else part and show the message or any operation that you want to show to your user. Okay, now again what we are doing is let's perform a bigger operation. So we are defining memory of any specific phone. So here we get the memory from user, and user input any different or any particular memory type. Okay, so if it is 32-bit of GB, then what will happen, it will return that okay, the price of that particular phone is 600. If that is 64, the value that user inserted, then this amount will get reflected, that is 128 GB, so the price will be higher than all of the above. But if that is not the case, if user prints some random number like 24 or 12, any other values than these three, so the message or the final printf statement would be the requirement is not met. Now we have the looping statement. So whenever there are any particular operation, we want to perform them with many users or a number of variety of things, so we can use those looping statement. Okay, so let's say what we are doing is we are printing a range of 0 to 6. Okay, which is 0 is inclusive and 6 is exclusive. Whenever we print that range, so it will again give 0 that is inclusive and 6 that is exclusive, just because we are getting the value from 0 to n-1. Okay, we can also get the value of that list from a particular range. Let's say we want to get the value from 2 to 5, so we are passing two values. Okay, one is inclusive and another one is exclusive. Again, we are getting to know that if we want to get the value from 6 to 14, and the value gap should be of 2, so what it will do is it will first print the 6, then a gap of 2 digits should be there. So after 6 it is 8, 12, 10 and 12. But we can also do such operation using the loop itself. So what we do is we have for loop here, so where the syntax of for loop is nothing but we define a variable I, and the range or the value that we want to iterate this I in any loop. Okay, so the iterate of I should be find its value from the range of 5 to 21, and the gap should be of 5, right? Let's say what we are doing is we are saying that okay, just it is I and the first value of I is 5. The discount is equal to price multiplied I divided by 100, right? So what it is doing is first time it will be 5 by 100. Okay, so the discount price we got from price minus discount, and it is printed. Again it went to the inside that loop, and this time as the step is of 5, so 5 plus 5 would be 10. I is now 10, so 10 divided by 100 would be there, and it will calculate the discounted price and the final price will get printed. Again we have the value for iteration, it will go again. Okay, so now our I become 15. Okay, this time also this loop and print statement will get printed, and now check whether is there any value to get into the loop. Yes, we have 20 that is greater than 15, so this time the 5 will be added with those 15 and it will become 20. At the 20 the loop will work exactly same. Okay, but now again we do not have a range that if we add 5 in that range, so the value will be inside that range, because in 20 we add 5, so it will become 25, but the last value or the ending value we have is 21. So it will come out the loop and print all the values. Another type of loop we have is the while, where we have a while condition, and then we print the statement that we want to print inside that while loop. Let's say we have defined a price and the I we have to declare before that while loop. Now we are saying that if I or the 5 is less than equals to 20, so keep iterating in this value or in this loop. Okay, so what we are doing is we are again getting the discount value and we are getting the final price, right? And at the last of this print statement, we are saying that just increase the I with 5, that is nothing but I equals to I plus 5. Okay, so here each time I will get increased here and the condition will be checked. Once the condition will get false, so it will definitely come out of the loop and print all the value. That means the program is end here and just return all those value. So here at the final we got the value of I just because when I was 20, because it got increased first time, then second time, then thrice, and then fourth. Now the I is 20, 20 is less than 20. Okay, and the value got calculated accordingly. At the end of this statement, the I has become 25. Now 25 is less than equals to 20, the condition is false, so it will return the I also because the final value of I is 25. This way we got that. List comprehension is nothing but whenever we want to perform no such operation that we normally use in our loops, we can use inside list. Okay, let's say how we have defined an empty list, right? We are passing a loop. Okay, so what are we doing here? We are declaring a variable and we are saying that okay, insert inside this variable just store x minus this particular value. Okay, and once it is done, we are appending. That means at the last of this list, just keep adding those value. Okay, so we are performing this operation inside this empty list, right? And this way we are getting the final list. Remember that this print is outside of this for loop, so it will get executed once in this particular block of code. Again, we can also perform some other operation, like we are defining this discounted price list, and what we are doing is we are saying that okay, do x minus this, that is just perform this operation, and from where it has to get the x, just get the x from this price list, and the operation will have to execute unless and until this for loop get false, right? So if the for loop get the value of x inside this price list, so keep doing this operation and return this print statement. Okay, so in this way we can do the same thing, but this statement or this type of logically doing this will save the code and will also save the time, but understand better the structure of that for loop, one will have to do in this way. Again, what we are doing is we are getting the input value from the user and we are saying that okay, just print yes when the x is less than equals to the budget. Budget is the value that user has printed. X is our value that we have defined above. Budget is the value that user has defined, and x is the value that we are getting from this discounted price list that we defined above. And we are saying that what you have to do is just print yes if x is less than equals to budget, else print no. Okay, hope this part is clear. But before that, from where we have to get this x, we have to get this x from the for loop. So the for loop is giving us the x, so we can say this is right to left operations. Okay, so first we are coming at the last, just do a for loop. Okay, then we are getting x here, just check the value with that x, and if it is yes, then return yes, and if condition do not match, then return no. Next, what we are doing is we are passing a empty list in this operator, and we are saying that okay, X should get the value from account discount prices list, and the loop will get defined accordingly. Then we are saying that okay, just and then we are saying that again, if X is less than equal to budget, just append in the list, and if it is not the case, just append in the list yes and no. This is what exactly the simpler form of this block of code. Now we have the functions in Python. Basically, these are very handy if we have to run same code many times inside our program. Okay, so we define the function by using the def keyword, and we can also pass the decorator here. Decorator is nothing but the description of this function, and this becomes very handy when somebody else reads your code. Okay, so just keep this thing in mind. We should make this habit to use all the commenting and decorating our program. Here we are defining the price, and we are defining the RAM, and we are defining the storage inside that function, and just printing the all value. Now if I want to call this function, so we write the name of this function. Okay, so it will directly return the value that this function will return inside this block. Okay, so here I will get the value that is in print statement here, and just print those value. But if I want to pass any argument like yes, I know we have to run this function many times, but I want to run this function many times with different operations, I mean with different values. If this is a function of addition, so sometime do x plus y and sometime do y plus g, right? So we have to specify that okay, what is the value of x and what is the value of y and g. So here we just define the variable, right? So now we are passing 4 variable inside that function, and it is saying okay, we have the value of this variable, and we have to just print these variable. And from where it is getting the values, it is getting the value whenever we call this function. We also pass the arguments. So these are the argument. Brand is Samsung, price is $8.99, RAM is 12, and storage is 128. Okay, so this time I called it and it will get printed. But now what if I want to get the value with some no insufficient argument? It will just populate an error that the number of argument should be passed properly. Okay, and we are saying that this will return the value from this function. So what basically return is a result that the function is returning, which is very important in every function. Okay, so like here we can if we have any variable here, so we just want to return this variable whenever this function is called, so just use the return keyword before that variable. Again, we have defined this function and getting a value that is discount. Okay, here we are performing some operation that is just to perform this price to get the discounted price. Use this variable here, and finally we are returning the final variable. So whenever we call this function, and it will return the final answer that we got from this value. We can also do the same thing with lambda. Lambda is nothing but an anonymous function which do not have any no definition. So what happens, we just define a variable and say that okay, do a lambda function operation, and the discount is we are getting from the function when we call this function. And what will happen, it will also do the certain operation and return the value. Here we are passing 10, so what it will do is it will just perform this operation, okay, and return the value after the final execution of this function, that is 900 minus 900 and multiplied by the 10% of this price. Now we have in terms of argument, we use two things, that is args and kwargs. Basically what happens in normal function, what we are doing is we are passing any n number of values, okay, n number of variables in the function, right? And when we call that function, we have to pass all those n number of values. So here we know that okay, we have to pass 5 values in this variable, and we pass them separately and get the required amount. But what happens if we use args? So basically args, we just write the asterisk and args, and here by defining args we do not know that yeah, we have to pass 5 values, we have to pass 6 values, but we want to know that okay, we have n number of values and it could be anything and we want to perform that operation. So we just call that function and pass the n number value. It could be 100,000, 10,000, anything. Okay, so here just because we do not know the number of arguments, we just use asterisk args. And the args is not just only syntax that we should define. We can write any name of the variable. Okay, args is nothing but the representative of this asterisk. So just pass the asterisk and use the required alias of that args. Now what if we want to perform that args operation with any other value? So what will happen, we are just defining this discount here as default value, so it will apply with all the number of arguments that we are passing. There are n number of arguments, so the discount price will get applied with all those n number of arguments, right? Similarly, what we can do is we can also change their sequence, so the program will automatically understand that okay, we have one variable here with the certain value and we have to use this value whenever it is called with these args statements. Okay, now let's move towards with the kwargs. So basically for kwargs, what we do is we just define 2 asterisks. Okay, so again we are all doing args here, then the discounted price and the kwargs, right? Now what will happen, it will return the value. Okay, here you can see that we are passing the argument for our args value, we are passing the value for the discounted, which, and the final is the kwargs. So what kwargs do is kwargs just map all those value that we are passing with each and every one inside that code. Okay, let's understand with one example. So here we are passing args and kwargs, and here we are passing the asterisk and dual asterisk here. Okay, that means args and kwargs. So what we want to know is we want to see that okay, in additional we have a dictionary, right? Whenever we talk about the mapping, of course we have a key and the value that we want to map, and here we are defining some certain variable. Okay, and what we are saying that okay, this is just call this order summary. Okay, and these are our values, and just to get the value for mapping from this dictionary. Okay, so in this kwargs here we might be calling the value that are discount and cashback. So discount, this is here, and this is inside this additional. Okay, so in additional just get the value of this discount, and in additional just get the value of this cashback. So whenever we have to use the mapping inside our function, so we use the kwargs, which is additional feature. And for normally when we do not know the number of argument that we want to pass inside a function, so we just use the args here, right?